This is my Creality Ender 3 Neo 3D printer. I made a video when I bought this, so I'll put a link to it up here somewhere. And I was thrilled. I wanted to get into 3D printing so bad, but it's been nothing but a disappointment. I even tried changing parts and all that jazz, and it still refuses to print well for me. Maybe it's me, maybe it's the printer, but I'm making an upgrade today. We're moving to a different one. We're gonna put it together, try it out. And that's today on Tech Guy Life. So I think I tried everything I could with this printer. I changed the hot end. I changed the leveling things to those rubber ones. I even redid the firmware and installed Clipper because that was supposed to fix it, or, it was supposed to be the best way to run this. But I still can't get a good print. If I spend hours, and I mean literal hours, trying to level this bed, it may work once, maybe twice. But if the thing sits here doing nothing for any longer than a week, it won't work again. And I have to spend hours leveling it again. And I have no idea why. It just loses its level. And it doesn't even move. It just stays there. It's been in this spot since the day I got it. And it's never worked right. So out it goes. So this is what I bought to replace my 3D printer, the Ender 3 Neo. Broke down and bought a Bambu Labs A1. Reason why is because, well, they've got a pretty good reputation of it just works, which is what I want. I want it to just work. And also, a friend of mine has a Bambu and loves it. And I've seen a bunch of his prints because he brings over fidget toys for the kids every time we see them. And it looks great. And that's what I want. I don't want no fuss, no muss. I just want it to work. And this printer is reasonably priced now. I got mine for under $400 Canadian, which is a stellar deal. So let's set it up and see if it's as good as they say they are. So the first thing that happens is you pull out this great, big, huge plastic bag out of the main box, and now you have to break into the plastic bag. So on top was the build plate, and I'm assuming this is a package of documentation. So we're gonna have to read that first, but that was on top. So inside, I got all kinds of shadows because my lighting's crappy down here. But inside the packet, an ad, some stickers, the safety guide, the warranty leaflet, a little leaflet about the build plate, and your quick start guide. So I'm going to start there and read that first. So all around the foam packaging, there's these little cubby holes, and that's where you pull out all of your accessories. So there was a couple of boxes on this side, and then over here there was the power cord, and then on top is the spool holder. So you open this up, and then you can take the spool holder out. And then this piece of cardboard comes off, and we start to see the rest of the printer. In among the printer parts was a sample filament they give you, and also the PTFE tubing. And unbelievably, the printer comes in only 2 parts. This is crazy compared to the amount of assembly I had to do on my other printer. So right now, this looks enjoyable. So inside the accessories box, we've got all of the different screws and different parts that you need to put this in together, and everything is all nicely labeled. And you got your 2 Allen keys. So I'm going to try and use the tools that they provided to see how easy they are to use. The only thing I'm providing of my own is some snips in order to cut the plastic cable ties that they've got on this thing. Once you take all the packaging off, the first thing you do is put the build plate on, and the build plate goes on only one way because there's a nice little guide at the back. And man, are these magnets strong. Like, holy smokes. Then once you've got that done, you put the bed inside the printer. You kind of turn it sideways. The instructions are actually really good in terms of this, in terms of, exactly what to do. Like, they show you to angle the bed to slide it in there, and it really only goes in one way. It's really hard to mess this up. Then you pull the bed forward and take off the cover, and it shows you where all the screws go because they're all circled in green. Somebody there really thought this through so far. So once you get the printer assembled, the next step is to dangle your printer precariously off the edge of a table in order to hook up the bottom connections. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to show you this because it's going to be pretty dark over here. But basically what you do is you take this, and there's a great spot on the bottom where it all hooks in, and it's pretty straightforward. And the manual covers it really well. So here's the connector on the bottom installed. So it's all nicely labeled. The yellow one goes to the yellow connector, the green one goes to the green connector, and then the last one goes in there. There's another connector that's back in here that slides in, and then there's a screw that you have to tighten in order to hold it all together. So easy peasy. So when you don't have the AMS, like I don't, they give you the spool holder, which just clips onto the top bar. And this is in the picture. This is approximately where they show it. So that's why I did it there. The one thing that's not very well explained is how to install this tube, which is the tube that goes from the filament down to the extruder. It just says, stick it in, and you're done. And yeah, there's really no way to know if this is in far enough. This one had a little bit of a feel when it clicked in far enough, but this one did not. So that's the only thing I'm unsure of. And then you use this little connector to keep these two tubes kind of going in the same direction. So I redid the cable organizer thing because I read in the manual that you have to hook the black cable up to the small connector. So there is one that is on there that is specifically smaller than the others, and that's where you have to put the black cable. I also ended up moving it down to be more in line with what they want because I want to make sure this works. So I loaded in the sample amount of filament that they give you. You just push it through there, and you can actually see slightly through the hole when it comes all the way down to there, and I just kept pushing it until it stopped moving. So the filament should be loaded now. Connected the power cord. It comes with a really short power cord, but it's just a standard computer power cord. So I just swapped it out with something that's a little bit longer. And I believe we are now at the point where we can turn it on and set this up. Turned it on, it made a delightful chirping noise. And now we have the setup screen, so I'm gonna do the peel. Refreshing. We'll start. English and North America. All right, I'm gonna connect it to my Wi-Fi. Okay, so you have to use the Bambu Handy app on your phone in order to create an account and log in and then bind the printer to your account. Yeah, some people may not like that, but at this point, I don't really care. I want this to be easy, so I'm just gonna do it the right way. Well, maybe not the right way, but their way. So when it gets through all of that, you have to bind it. You get to this point where it wants you to do the whole calibration stuff. So it does, looks like it takes about 27 minutes. So let's get that started. I guess when you start doing the calibration, make sure the printer is where you want it to be. And I would suspect that if you move it, you probably need to recalibrate it every time. Says we're all set. So the great thing about that was I didn't have to sit down here and wait with it, and my phone told me when it was done because I could just monitor the progress on my phone, and that was fantastic. So the printer asked me to lubricate the y-axis. So that was very simple. It actually put a QR code up on the screen, scanned it, took me to their website, showed me a video of exactly how to do it. So they give you a little tube of the lubrication stuff in the bag, in this parts box, and then you just take the cover off and you put a little lubrication on both, the whole rail system in there. Yeah, couldn't get any easier than that, I tell you. So it told me there was a firmware update, so we're gonna go ahead and download and install the firmware update. Okay, update done. Well, that was easy. All right, it's time to do our first test print. So all you have to do is press print files, and it shows you the stuff that is currently on the SD card that's in the printer that it comes with. Print the speedboat, which is usually what people use as your basis. So we're gonna go ahead and print with that. And then it says if we don't have an AMS, which we don't turn it, it's not on because it's not connected, it's not even an option. Bed leveling is turned on, and turn on time lapse for a video recording. Ooh, I'm gonna try that. And this is all covered in the manual. They tell you exactly what to do in the manual. So far, I've been very impressed, although we haven't printed anything yet. So let's get to printing. All right, so we just press print. Yep, it does print. Can't hit. There we go. There we go. Ooh, fancy. Wow. This thing's fast comparatively. Wow, that printed fast. And, oh, I can't even get it off there. Holy adhesion, Batman. Holy smokes. I don't think I've ever gotten a print this clean from the Ender 3 Neo. Amazing. So far, I have to say that this is delivering exactly what I wanted. It is fast and easy. Okay, I've been 3D printing stuff all day. Well, not a whole lot of stuff, a couple things already. You know, printed the boat, and I'll go over a bunch of different things that I'm printing. But this is exactly how I wanted 3D printing to be. Find the thing, print the thing. That's it. And that's what this is apparently doing, because this will be my third print today, and so far, everything looks 100 times better than what I was able to get on the Ender 3 Neo. And I don't know if it's just how I had it set up. I didn't do much when it comes to this one. I just put it together, put the screws where they asked me to, put it on the desk, the same spot where the Ender 3 was, and this has been able to do more prints in a row than the Ender 3 ever has. So I gotta say, super impressed so far. This is exactly how I thought 3D printing was going to be. Send something to print, it prints. Works perfectly, seems to be every time. I have printed a bunch of stuff already, probably more stuff in the last couple of days than I have printed with my other printer over the 2 years that I had it. So some of the fun things that I found is that there was a little bag of screws that it came in the package, and it said for scraper, and I was like, what is that? And then there was a blade in a little paper package, and I was like, what the heck is that for? Ends up you print your own tools. So they give you the screws and the blade to build yourself a bed scraper. And then it even prints out a little holder. So there you go. Oh, I fell over. There was another bag of screws, which I can't find right at this moment. But if your printer vibrates too much, you can print a whole set of supports for the side, and they give you the screws to hold it together in the kit. And it's great. One thing that you definitely need to print for yourself when you start up is what's called a poop bucket. And this is one that hangs off of the printer that I found a design for, and has a little slide out bag, because the printer makes a whole lot of what people call printer poop. And this is for testing the filament to make sure that it is properly extruding, and also for when you change filaments. So it has a considerable amount of waste, I would say. This is all the waste that I've had for most of my prints. I threw out some of it, but I wanted to show you, just so you can see what it's like. But you know what? Small price to pay for getting prints that work every time. And that is the biggest thing that I've seen so far, is that all of these prints work. One other cool thing that came in the box was this. And this is one of their little Maker Studio or Maker World kits. And you could buy these off their site. So you 3D print the lamp part. And this had inside is the lamp, the USB powered lamp. It's really cool. I really enjoyed printing that. And in fact, actually what I printed was a large pumpkin Mickey light, because it's Halloween's just around the corner when at the time of filming. That print was a 14-hour print that worked perfect. There was not a flaw on it, and I was just, compared to the printer I came from, the Ender 3 Neo, this has been a night and day experience. I am so glad I bought this printer, and I have a newfound love for 3D printing. Kinda wish I had bought the AMS, but you know, whatever. We can add that in the future, maybe. If you like this kind of content, please like, subscribe, hit that like button, do all the fancy things that YouTube makes you do. But we'll see you in the next one. Bye.